Welcome to From the Woodshed, where we talk about all things Maine cabins, and all things Maine related. Coming to you from the Kennebec Cabin Company, home of the Maine Cabin Masters in Manchester, Maine. Open year-round, stopping for live music, delicious food, and cold beverages before or after your visit to our retail location. From the Woodshed is brought to you by Nelma, see the stamp, trust quality. Hammond Lumber Company, our building materials supplier, and Benjamin Moore, the official paint and stain supplier of the Kennebec Cabin Company. Only available at locally owned stores. We're wicked excited to get started, so let's head on in. From the Woodshed, I'm Chase Morrill. With me as always, Ryan Morrill.
I have a Morrill. Ryan Morrill, yes.
Ryan Eldridge and Maggie Morrill.
Hi.
We're here to talk about all things Maine, all things cabins, all things Maine cabin related. Our guest today is Brad Henderson. He is the product manager of Benjamin Moore. You can find us at KennebecCabinCompany.com, MaineCabinMasters.com, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Kennebec Cabin Company YouTube channel. And don't forget to check out our online store at shop.KennebecCabinCompany.com. We always want to thank our sponsors, Hammond Lumber, the official building materials supplier of Kennebec Cabin Company, Nelma, Northeast Lumber Manufacturing Association, and of course Benjamin Moore, the official paint and stain supplier of the Kennebec Cabin Company, only available in locally owned stores.
You nailed it again.
Well, kind of.
And I'm the second
Morrill.
Ryan Morrill. I don't want to be. There is a Ryan Morrill. I'll be second. He's been on the show a couple times.
Yes, he has.
I mean, Ashley hasn't taken my last name.
Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't.
Yeah, when it's convenient.
Depending on how she feels about you.
Anyways, so Maggie, big week. How's your first week as a graduate? I mean, you did come into work early today. You must have been excited to see us.
Yep. Great to see you all. I totally knew this was happening.
What have you been up to?
Not much.
Oh, come on. Didn't you?
Getting ready to work.
Was this weekend not amazing? What did you and Dad do?
We went to Formula One in Canada. It was
In
good.
Montreal.
Yeah, so Maggie graduated last week. We had a crazy filming schedule, and her awesome dad. You guys left. What time did you leave Poppin Beach?
6, got home about 7:30. We left about 8.
8:30.
8.
I was ready at 7:30.
And at what time
He
did you guys
didn't
get there?
pack until 8.
We got there about 1 o'clock.
Yep, we did.
Very cool. That's a road trip.
Yeah, got up and had a weekend of F1.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's Montreal's cool. A lot of people.
How many people do you think?
They said over 100,000 people descending on for the race.
Is it a street course, like through the streets mostly? And
No,
No.
they have a dedicated island.
an island.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like in the St. Lawrence, they have an island that you have to either take a bridge or a ferry or a...
Don't take the bridge. Do not walk across the bridge
With
in the
100
rain.
with 100,000 other people.
No, it was like 20 other people because why would you go that way? Because it went the wrong way.
So Saturday is final qualifying. How's it work? Saturday's races, right?
Practice, qualifier,
Qualifying.
main race on Sunday. So
There's 3 practices.
there's 3
but
practices. It was a rainy weekend. We were able to see practice and a race on Saturday.
Practice and qualifying, and then the race on Sunday.
Yes. And
Dad had a lot of questions.
And there were a lot of people, and I did good with the crowds, but I couldn't handle them by the end of the day. And we ended up walking instead of taking the subway, and it was an out-of-the-way way.
And it was raining.
and it may have started
he was
pouring
like,
rain
no,
on
we
us."
don't need our raincoats that day.
I may
it's raining.
have gotten us lost.
Because he has the GPS pulled up on his phone, but he won't follow it. He won't listen to it. And we're going in the wrong way, even though his phone's saying go the right way.
It's because every time I went to use it, it was raining, and I'd drop a pin. It just kept dropping pins. I'm like, I just want to know where we're going. And so...
But what was the last time you guys went on a
still
trip like
hasn't
that?
forgiven-
That's awesome.
She still hasn't forgiven
I was miserable.
Yeah.
I was genuinely miserable.
Your dad took you for F1.
Okay, it was overall, it was good. But in that moment,
Okay.
when we're going to a bus station in the rain, and then we're not actually supposed to be going to a bus station,
Really traumatized.
You know what you
her.
needed? You know
It
what you
was
need? You know
really-
what you needed? You know what
really
you guys
upsetting.
needed? You need a Mimi with a map.
Probably.
Yeah.
At least she listens to what the map
Yeah.
says.
So Saturday you had a great time. You got acquainted, and then Sunday was the race.
Sunday was the race. Yep. So we got up, and truly, like, it took an hour to get into our seats. Like, it was
Just walking in.
you're in a sea of people, and so once you're in, you're in. You know, it's not like you can just kind of. It's not like it's in the streets of the city where you can just kind of jump around.
But there was concessions, and is there pop up like merchandise?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's it like a beer or water F1?
There's all Heineken inside. That's all you could get.
Just get a beer and water, same thing.
Yeah. They didn't have Death Water. No, what is it?
Liquid Death.
Liquid Death.
What?
Yeah.
Like what?
Your dad and I are just learning about Liquid Death.
Of course you
Apparently
are.
we sell it.
It's been a very long time that this has existed.
Apparently we buy it every week and sell it. We don't even know it.
It's existed for a very long time.
Well, I just
What's the
learned about
appeal
it
of
today.
Liquid Death?
It's so that it looks like alcohol if you don't want to drink.
Oh.
Never had that problem.
And just because it's like different than all the rest of the water.
Is it good?
It's just water. It just tastes like water.
That is a marketing genius.
That's why it's so successful and why you sell it here.
Oh, interesting.
And because it's a bar.
So, yeah, Sunday was the race. It was rainy, which made it all the more exciting.
Any crashes?
We had great seats.
Yes.
The sound those cars made was just unreal.
You guys sent me a video.
And they were so fast. And when the track was wet and they went flying by, the spray just seeing how much air they moved and everything. It was pretty incredible.
So this picture you guys sent me, you guys were across, on pit row, like right in the middle of the.
Yeah. Yes.
So say a car's coming, like it's like, and there's like you see a car for maybe 10 seconds or you hear it come and then
Yeah. Like if you're looking
Yeah.
straight ahead, it's
gone.
Gone.
And there's screens everywhere.
Yep.
Yep.
Like these F1 races, I mean, it takes them weeks to set up.
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm so jealous.
Yeah. And then we drove home Sunday night, and we went, I don't know, through.
Did you drop any wet pins?
No, we got out. We took the subway home. We got home. Everything went well. And then the drive home, we went through like Dixville Notch.
That's the same way we went there. Just saying. We went the same way both ways.
First place to vote in the country.
The same way that I went there the last time.
and like Grafton Notch and like it is-
Beautiful.
but it's back roads
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah,
windy
I drove
the
that
entire
whole
time.
part.
We had to like almost have a spotter for animals. It's just
Yeah,
right.
but we didn't do a very good job.
I didn't see any dents in the truck. What did you guys take?
My car.
yeah. But deer everywhere,
There were some
rabbits,
casualties.
fox. We
No, we hit 2 foxes.
we each hit one.
It
so
was really
equaled
bad.
out.
It was really bad. I still feel bad.
No.
It was bad.
Most of the time a car hits yeah, they're fine.
It was bad. It was bad. Just saying, it was bad.
Anyways, what time do you guys get back?
Like midnight.
Yeah.
I have to drive the hard part though because I drive the America part
No,
because I can't drive in Canada.
I'm glad you had fun, but I'm amazed at your dad. Like I was tired, but I came in the back 40 on Monday thinking maybe you'll be sleeping a little bit. He's there right when I get at 7 a.m. Like very impressive. Like
It was
It was for old man. Impressive.
it was fun. We had a great time.
We did.
that's awesome. Well, congratulations. And now you're just enjoying summer.
I start work next week.
Where you work?
The library
What
and
days?
here.
I bet.
on Thursdays 2 to 7.
No, I work Monday through Thursday.
And then countdown to college.
UVM.
Unless they're not on Thursday suddenly.
This can't be the last one. We got to switch it.
We'll figure something out.
No, we got to hand a torch. We haven't done the. We're gonna hire like. I'm not ready for this.
Maybe one of our podcasts should just be an interview process.
Oh right. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
Can we bring some people we don't even know we're gonna hire and just put them in the hot seat? Let's do it.
We'll get Rocco in here.
Do not bring Rocco in this podcast studio. I'll cry.
We can get like Bubba in here.
Oh yeah.
All the Wayne kids.
Oh my God. Don't we have something to do? Don't we have a guest?
We do. We've got a great guest today.
Yeah. Well, speaking about that, we'll take a short break. Let's watch this video and we'll welcome our guest from Benjamin Moore.
Nelma has a beautifully respaced shed. We use all eastern white pine. We use a ton of it on the cabins we do because it's a natural, local, easily sourced, beautiful. Yeah, and you can treat it in so many variations that it's That's great. And you can use it many different ways. Good. That's how you throw the wood at it, Chase. Throw the pine right at it.
All right, and we are back with our guest, Brad Henderson. Brad is the product manager for Benjamin Moore. Brad, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. Happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us. We know it's a little hot up here, but summer's coming fast, and we'll take it.
Well, we got a good question for you. Would you like a water, coffee, or beer today?
I'll take a coffee.
All right, give us 10 minutes.
No, I'll take a beer.
You want a beer? All right. We got our beautiful beer selection in here. I think Chase and I are going to go with a beautiful Oxbow Brewing today. Today's segment is bought by Oxbow right
Thank you
down
very
the
much.
road. It's a nice lager, light drinking.
Ben, would you like one?
And yeah, so it's actually a dry hop lager.
Grab that
It's
sucker.
What does that remind you of?
I don't know.
Doesn't it remind you like Italian writing? And like that reminds me of Italy for some reason.
Because it's Italian style.
Right? Oh, it is. I knew it. God, see that trip to Italy is just living with us.
I want to have a little of yours.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that does taste. See, didn't I say it tastes like Peroni? We were just talking about Italian
We
beer.
were.
No Italian food for us. Oh, well, speaking of Italy, guess which paint was in Italy? Our friends at Benjamin Moore.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, we started a couple of places, and we got some over there. And
Yes. Paint is definitely different in Europe.
a lot different. And a lot more expensive for some reason.
Well, yes.
I mean, you get what you pay for. You guys are the best, so.
But no,
But-
everything was more expensive.
But paint was, like, very interesting.
Yeah.
But we're not in Italy anymore.
We had to add water to the paint.
To the paint, yeah. So there is some differences when you cross the pond in painting. They,
Yeah.
they have a very thicker application.
Yeah.
They sometimes do thin. But Benjamin Moore is expanding out into the Europe area, and we're going with our American formulations out in Europe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, cheers. Thanks for joining us.
Cheers, thank you.
We added water to our beer the first time. It didn't go so well.
All right. So, product management. What is new at Benjamin Moore?
There's a lot going on at Benjamin Moore. So really this year, our biggest launch is our new exterior stain. So we launched our Benjamin Moore Woodlux, which I guess launched, don't quote me on the date, but it launched in February for this exterior stain season. And it has been a huge success, and it's been an exciting time.
Nice. That's different than the Arbor Coat, yes?
Yes, very different. So really, we've been working on some new wood resins with some new technologies for the last 5 or 6 years.
Down in Flanders.
Down in Flanders, New Jersey, that is
Been
correct.
there. Pretty cool place.
And we really basically white-walled the whole opportunity and just said, what do our customers need? What do the contracts needs? What's the job that needs to be done? And we built from the ground up for our translucent through semi-solid opacities, just a completely new formulation. And it's been a huge success with lots of positive feedback so far this season.
Nice. So it's semi-transparent to semi-solid, and so no solid in the Woodlux.
So there is a solid and an ultra flat solid. A lot of our innovations that we're really excited about are really in the lower opacities. So we do have a full comprehensive product line.
Is that to bring like the grains of the wood out, or
Yeah,
when you say you're excited about it, like?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So when it comes to stain, what's very different between exterior stain and paint is it comes in multiple opacities. So it can come from translucent, which shows a lot of the wood and sort of just a hint of color, all the way up to solid, which still shows the texture of the wood, but really covers and hides the imperfections. So you get a full range of beauty. And what we've really been excited about with our Woodlux, especially on our oil-based side, is we've got a new technology that penetrates very deep. The wood really, really loves it. It's sort of like the wood's thirsty, and it just soaks it up. And then it really shows that beauty for the end user.
I bet it works great with old Eastern White Pine.
I bet it does. So you can get Woodlux in oil-based?
You can get Woodlux in oil-based stains, water-based stains, and then we also have samples, and we have a whole cleaning prep selection as well. So you can complete the whole project.
Oh, nice. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and color-wise, you can get like a whole range of color, or?
Yeah, so really what we have developed is we've got an exterior stain palette, but ultimately what we have seen as a trend is sort of this open space living. I know, your master cabins, but really America and Canada has been really obsessed with open space living. They want their living room, their kitchen, they want the entire house to be one room. And we've really seen that expand to like we call it the sixth room, the outdoor room. Everyone wants that indoor beauty outside now. Everyone wants a TV, a fire pit, a pizza oven. They want a whole second living room outside. And when you go to a lot of other areas like California and regionally, you'll even see, like a garage door open now. So the indoor outdoor living where it's a one big room. So with Woodlux, when it comes to color, it's a very long answer to your color question. We've really been focusing on launching some new colors that sort of bring that indoor beauty and sort of that Benjamin Moore color authority to the outdoors, because that trend is just to make that seem seamless or like an indoor room outside.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing that you put that much thought into it. And you watch the trends.
Yes.
It's really cool.
So if I were a homeowner and I had recently sided my house, how do you make the determination whether you use Woodlux or, Arbor Coat or something like that, and how do you determine what, I guess, finish or
what product to use?
Yeah, water-based versus oil-based.
Yeah, so there's a couple ways to take that question. Ultimately, when we're out in our channel and our reps and customers are choosing their product, a lot of times what happens, whether they're doing the deck or they're outside of their house, they are doing it because of a life event. Like I have a graduation coming, or I'm buying my house, I'm selling my house. And so water-based stains, which still penetrate, are very beautiful. They dry quicker. They're more consistent there. And so that you can get the job done quick and easy. They are soap and water cleanup.
Yep.
So if you're choosing to get something done by this weekend because of a graduation party or because I'm selling my house, for speed and convenience.
Or you have a deadline.
Yeah, you have a deadline. You go towards the water-based. If from an oil-based perspective, there is sort of that natural rich look with oil-based, but it does take a little longer to dry. There's mineral oil, spirits, cleanup, and so it's really a choice of preference. But you can get a beautiful finish either way.
Does oil last longer? Is that a myth? Or is that kind of true?
So I would answer that in a couple ways. That is definitely a perception that people have. I mean, when you look at the coatings industry as a whole, there is always a lot of perception versus reality over the last. I've been in the industry 21 years now, which is crazy to say out loud. I can't believe I can say that out loud. But you definitely have seen a trend because of regulations, because of R&D, a push towards the water-based innovation and investments. So I would not say that the oil-based lasts longer. I would definitely say there's a perception, and I would call it a myth.
What's the base for oil-based stains?
What is the base for oil-based stains?
I mean, oil's pretty a generic term. Like, is there a specific?
It's not 5W30.
I can already see the dynamic here.
Color guy.
But is there a proprietary? Is there something that Benjamin Moore for the oil base, or is oil base is it?
Yeah, so
is it petroleum based?
That's an absolute great question that we get all the time. What is an oil-based stain? What's the alkyd in it? So Woodlux is a proprietary blend of resins, but it does have a high end of linseed oil in it. And so linseed oil is an absolute wonderful penetrating oil. So multiple kinds of woods like linseed oil, but the proprietary piece is how we blend some of the other alkyds with it and still get the benefits of the linseed oil. But it can also counteract the negative, sometimes connotation of linseed oil, which is food. I mean, at the end of the day, most organic substance like linseed oil, you get that moss, you get the green. So with the way we've developed the product and the way that we've blended the resins together, we can minimize that risk along with the mildicides and other things in the product to help give the yin and the yang and sort of the perfect mix or the perfect blend.
Nice. Now, as far as application, Woodlux can still be sprayed on. It functions just as any other stain, anything like that, correct?
Yeah, so again, going back as for a 6-year project, Benjamin Moore really has multiple customers. We've got sort of the professional residential contractor. We've got the homeowner, the end user. We even have our independent retail channel as sort of a customer base. And when it comes to stains, you sort of have a fork in the road when you're developing them. You can develop them to be extremely application friendly, and you can go the other route and go extremely protection heavy. And it's really, and I say protection, it's protection and beauty. And it's really about finding that balance. At the end of the day, what customers, what contractors and what our customers want is an easy application. So Woodlux can be sprayed, it can be brushed, it can be, you can use a roller, you can use a deck pad. It's a very, very easy application, very forgiving. One of the differences, going back to your questions, between oil and water-based applications is because oil dries slower, it's a friendlier application on a very hot day like today. You have the sun beating down on an exterior surface. As it dries, you want the surface to stay wet, have like a leading wet edge, so you don't get lap marks. You don't get those appearance of sort of like a double look when it dries. So that's, I guess I'm answering both those questions again, but that's one of the differences. But application is very, very much a piece of the development piece.
Yes.
So talking about all the science and application, I mentioned Flanders earlier. A lot of people might not know what that is, but Flanders is your research lab. And we went down to Ash and I were lucky enough last year to go down to the headquarters.
Nice.
And we got invited out to Flanders. So we're walking around headquarters, which is a cool building. And everyone's like, oh, you going to Flanders? You going to Flanders? And like, if you were going to Flanders, like, you were going to have a good day. So we get in the car and we drive out with Kevin and we go to Flanders. And I mean, there's guys in lab coats there. And I mean, it's a real lab. And I was just amazed at the experiments you guys had going on, from acres of fields of paints and stains that have been out there forever, how they deal with the UV rays in the sun, to how smooth stuff, how long it takes to put paint on a certain area and all this other stuff. So the science behind it is really, really amazing. And like, to know you guys have a whole lab, whole facility.
Whole facility. We actually technically have 8 labs there. And again, I got into product management about 12 years ago in my career, and it was a real sweet spot for me because you do develop with the scientist side, what you put in the can, as well as with the sales side and how to market and how to go to market with it. But the Flanders side is always so interesting. Within the 8 labs, we have an exterior lab, an interior lab, we have a resin lab, we have we have a product development long-term exploratory lab. But it is a fun place to be. I'm really glad you all got to go. We have
Chase hasn't been yet.
You did not get to go? When you were there, did you get to do the color test where you get to put the colors in order?
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I did. Ashley did better. But yeah, I mean, it for just building cabins and coming in that and just seeing the science behind it, and I've always been a firm believer you get what you pay for in paint. You can buy bottom line, but you spend more money on the right stuff, and you guys figure out the application and how much it can go, and your gallons go further, and it applies easier, and it really does pay off, all the work you guys do.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. That's one of the reasons I absolutely love working for Benjamin Moore, is there's a big focus on the quality, big focus on the end user. And with Woodlux, one of the most interesting things that I learned about the research is when we went out and did, customer research and what identify the needs is, of course, there's sort of like the 1A and 1B when you're staining, whether it's cabin, an exterior deck, an exterior of a home. The more north you get, sort of if you draw an imaginary line around Mason-Dixon area line, if you go north of the line, they prioritize protection. If you go south, in the south, they prioritize beauty. Both prioritize both. You're going to want both. But it's just a very interesting way that they perceive what they want from the product. I mean, everyone wants the protection. You're up here in Maine, you got the weather, you got the snow, the protection, but you still want the color and the beauty.
So when you say beauty, you mean like long-lasting color, not fading?
Yeah, so when we say beauty, when it comes to exteriors and exterior stains, you're really fighting against water is the number one thing that causes damage. So water can get into the wood and makes it expand and contract with heat and freezing. So you're protecting from water, you're protecting from UV, you're protecting from mold and mildew. Those are really the 3 biggest causes. And again, that fade resistance, long-lasting beauty, but the other 2 are very detrimental as well.
Now, as far as application of the Woodlux, you said it does come in a solid stain as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can it go on previously painted or previously stained woods, and also can you do multiple coats, or is it recommended to do multiple coats on like previously painted wood or fresh wood as well?
Yeah. So again, for anyone listening and looking for tips, they can always go to benmore.com and get some tips. I got that one in. But
Don't ask us.
but when it comes to one of the biggest things when dealing with exterior stain is one, it is a project that a lot of homeowners will actually take on. A lot of them are intimidated to do their kitchen, do their living room where they live all the time, but they're less intimidated to do their outside space. They know that it's going to affect differently. There's a different level of perfection. So it is a job where we get a lot of questions. So depending on the type of the wood or the previously coating, there are some different steps to take. We do have a walkthrough guide on benjaminmoore.com.
How do you know? So that sorry to interrupt you, but
No problem.
that's a
I'm
good
sorry.
question. Like
Yeah.
back in the 80s, 90s, there were a lot of like exterior siding preservatives that almost had like a wax. When somebody goes to restain or repaint their exterior, are there ways to tell what was previously used and what can be used?
So that's a great question. And so there's still waxes today in the market without a doubt. And so one, you can always just go to a local store and ask them, take pictures. I always recommend that. The first thing I would say is from a project perspective, we always recommend best practice. So a best practice, if there is a previously coating there are Woodlux strippers and removers part of the line that you can actually do that process. So we recommend that to remove the previous coating. In the real world, we know not everybody always loves to do the prep work. And so one of the things we recommend is
We don't know anything about that.
So one of the things we recommend is if you just take a little bit of water and sprinkle it on the wood, if it soaks right into the wood, meaning that surface would take in the stain, then you have a better chance of success. If you drop a little water, flick some water on it, it beads up, your chance of success is not strong.
Yep.
Because that wood is not going to absorb the stain. I mean, one of the biggest reasons both water-based and oil-based stains work so well is they go into the wood and they provide protection beneath the surface as well.
Good to know. Good tips. And then we touched on it a little bit, but as far as like choosing, what are the applications where water-based is better than an oil-based Woodlux product?
So there's a couple specific examples and when water-based would be better than an oil-based, one of which is if your wood is a little damp. So we have these, again, you have moisture meters. Again, not everyone is going to take a moisture meter and stick it into the wood to see what percentage of their wood has water in it. But water-based stains are more forgiving, are able to be applied to, I'll put in air quotes, damper wood. We always would recommend to make sure you're applying stains to dry wood. But you would have more success with a water-based stain with a damper wood.
How damp is damp?
About 28%.
He's close. He's not right, but he's close.
That's story of my life. Not right, but close.
So I believe our technical data sheet says 15%, but I'm sure that we can check
not
and it
very
might
close.
say 20%. It might say 20. Gotcha.
I mean, KD lumber is 50.
But the other question that we get a lot going back to the water oil base is the what opacity or what look is better for protection, translucent all the way up to semi-solid. What are we trying to achieve? And again, from a brand perspective, we think that's a consumer choice. Any piece of wood can be prepped right all the way back down to bare wood, and you could go to translucent. But in general, generally, the newer the wood, the more beautiful the wood, you're going to want to go with the translucent and show that wood for a while, show the beauty of the wood. If you have a hard wood like an ipe or a mahogany, you're going to want a translucent. You're going to want to show that beautiful wood. As your cabin or your deck or your home gets older, you move more towards a semi-solid or even a solid to hide the imperfections, still give the protection. So that's in general what people choose. It's certainly not a must.
Kind of work your way up the spectrum.
Work your way up
Just
the
like
spectrum.
getting old. You get old, you put some weight on, you cover up a little bit more at the beach. And
Hey, I'm wearing long sleeves in this hot little in the cabin.
Then also a question still about the oil-based and the water-based is temperature application.
Mm-hmm.
Does the Woodlux, what's the range for Woodlux? We've been known to paint, I'd say on the fringe temperatures.
31 degrees.
Yeah. So that is an excellent question. One is that the water-based stain, as it is water, we do not recommend below 32 degrees. We recommend 35 degrees and up. For the oil-based stain, we still do recommend 35 and up, although, again, when it comes to choosing which one, that is certainly another factor in your decision.
Sure.
And again, it's not always during application because these do take a little time to fully cure. So if you're doing something in Maine, I'm sure you have some cold nights, although you have beautiful days. So it may be a decision factor there on how cold is it getting at night between which one you choose. Both water-based and oil-based stains get affected by the environment. All exterior coatings get affected by the environment. So the hotter and hotter it's going to be, the quicker it's going to dry on both cases, although the water-based can be much quicker than the oil-based in the heat. And then the colder it is, then they both will dry slower. So we test all our products at 77 degrees at Flanders for our official dry times per our technical data sheet.
Can it be too hot to apply the paint?
It can yes, it can be too hot to apply the stain. But
Really?
Stain.
yeah, so it can technically be too hot from a surface temperature point of view. We don't recommend anything above 100. I'm gonna not say the exact temperature because I don't know what it is. It's on the technical data sheet. There's a few tips that a lot of experienced contractors do. One is some of them actually will shade if they're doing a certain side of the house. They'll actually shade it. They'll throw something up to shade it because that really affects the temperature. Another one that is also a tip is they'll actually mist moisture on it. Not a lot of moisture.
Just gonna ask if you've ever heard of people.
But you can mist moisture and it really lowers the surface temperature very quickly just for the application. That one's always a double-edged sword because you don't want to do too much water.
Right. Cool. All right, I think I'll have more questions. I could keep going, but Maggie gave me the old thumbs up, and she's got some fan questions for you as well. So,
Fan questions.
I mean, most of them have already been asked, but
sorry.
Your dad's on fire. This is his wheelhouse.
Sadly, I've got to start.
There is nothing sad. There's nothing sad about talking coatings here.
He was our paint expert, and then he's coming back into it. So
great.
There's a really exciting episode we're working on that really showcases Benjamin Moore, and I'm not getting anything done, but you got to wait till fall to see it. A little taste in a teaser.
If you probably look at his shirt, you can probably see it on there.
yeah, there's something on his shirt.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First one is from Catherine Merrill. Is it easy for a homeowner to apply stain, or should we hire a professional?
So that's a great question. And we did sort of touch on that, but I'll expand a little bit on that. So I would say that most home projects, paint projects, can be tackled by homeowners as long as they take the time and want to do them. When it comes to doing an exterior deck, it is certainly a great project for a homeowner to take on. There's plenty of step-by-step instructions. Again, like I said, it's a little less intimidating than doing your kitchen or doing something you're going to host in and you're looking for perfection. So the answer is yes. And the beginning of that question, I think, was how to apply it. Forgive me, Maggie.
I mean, if you want, it doesn't say that, but if you want to go into detail.
Yeah, so I would say that from a recommendation point of view, if you're not an experienced stainer, there's two things you want to do. One, start at the top. So if you have railings or if you have spindles or stairs, start from the top and stain down. And then make sure when you're staining, you don't stain yourself into a corner because you don't want to walk it off. So that's just very simple, basic tips, but they do happen all the time. And then I'm a big fan, if you have a large deck that you're going to do, to use a large pole so you're not down on your hands and knees staining. You can just do long sort of strokes. And then if you are going to lift the brush or the roller off of the wood, lift it at the natural breaks. Do the whole piece of wood and lift at the breaks so you don't have these lap marks.
I'll expand on that.
Like curling.
Brush down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when because stain tends to be a little bit drippier than regular paint.
Yes.
And instead of it running down the brush and onto your arm, it kind of naturally follows gravity.
Do you see a shirt? Professional.
And I just recently purchased one of those cordless handheld sprayers.
Yes. Changed your world, didn't it?
I was extremely skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
He did a good job with it.
They take DeWalt batteries, and yeah, it worked great.
Yeah, so the Woodlux water-based stain is very, very thin, so it sprays very easily. You can even use the pump-up sprayers if you would like.
Oh wow.
I mean, it'll spray with that amount
Yeah.
of pressure. But the DeWalt ones, those are good. Any of the battery-powered ones, but don't be afraid to spray as a homeowner either. The couple tips if you're spraying is be cautious of the wind if it's the first time you're spraying.
Don't spray in the wing like other things.
Yeah, don't spray in the wind. And if you do have any kind of shrubbery or even your home, don't be afraid to mask it off a little
Or
bit.
your
with
vehicle
the
parked far away.
So what you're saying, as long as you didn't procrastinate for that life event that's coming up, do it as a homeowner. But if you procrastinate and that life event's coming up, hire a professional.
Or if you're scared of heights.
Yep.
Yeah. Every job is a little different,
Yep.
yes.
Like we like to say, if you just start it, you got to find a way to finish it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Some sound advice. Sure.
We finally got her talking.
Sorry. All these questions, it's going to be a lot of the same, but we'll go with one last one. And yeah, this is from Steve Randall. As a homeowner looking to stain a deck, how do I know which product to use?
All right. So as a homeowner that wants to stain a deck, again, the sort of the two choices that I would start with is one, take a picture of what condition it's in. If you want to go to a Benjamin Moore retailer and ask those questions, that's a great place to start. They'll guide you in the direction just to get started. And really what I would say is envision what you want the deck to look like from a product perspective, what type of wood that you have. One thing that homeowners ask all the time is, what color is our deck supposed to be, or what color am I supposed to use? And again, if I don't personally love to give color advice, I like to give product advice. But a general trend would be that if you have a light house, then do a dark deck, or if you have a dark house, do a light deck. It really is a good contrast. You certainly do not have to do that, but that is in general way to go. But when it comes to what product to use, I certainly would recommend Benjamin Moore Woodlux.
And is this the color book?
So that is our fan deck that shows all our entire color palette
I'm actually kind of hot. Do you mind fanning me for a minute?
in all opacities.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a lot. How many colors are in that?
Stop doing that.
So Woodlux in semi-transparent and semi-solid come in 75 colors. In solid and ultra solid come in 3,500 colors. And in our translucent come in 8 ready-made colors. However, with just like paint, if you are looking for something custom, we have tint bases that our local retailers can help you find a custom color as well.
Any dark greens on them?
Yep.
There are some dark greens.
And as always, if you are getting into scraping or anything like that on any projects, and if your house was built before 1978, make sure you are lead aware and doing everything properly and safely so that you're not creating a lot of dust particles and anything that the EPA would not recommend.
So Brad, next time you come, we're gonna play the paint name game. That's pretty fun. We've done it a couple of times.
Paint name game?
They ask us a bunch of names like, is that a real Benjamin Moore name? Like, we're not very good at it, but we have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now I'm upset. Yeah, cool. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, we're excited to try the Woodlux line and get it on some camps and cabins.
Yeah, I'm excited to get some of this on some of your master cabins as well.
And if you ever want to come up and help us supply it, feel free.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Brad. We're going to be right back with some project pointers after this.
A lot of times we're trying to bring back a house to what it was originally like. The Woodlux Prep line products help us a lot with that. Having a stain and sealer remover and a wood brightener and a neutralizer is really helpful for us because it gets discolorations from sunlight, it gets mildew, as well as the small samples. A lot of times customers are going to want to see 4 or 5 different samples. Having those is really great for the contractor.
In my 20 plus years painting, there's been no company that provides a higher end all around package than Benjamin Moore.
All right. Well, now we have a new paint in our arsenal, Woodlux.
It's exciting.
Yeah. And we are on to project pointers. And again, if you want to get involved, send us your project and any other questions you might have with it. Photos, videos, anything is great. Podcast at mainecabinmasters.com.
I just had a thought.
Yeah.
We could do a Project Point of field trip if it was close. That'd be
That
kind of
seems
fun.
ambitious.
Maybe there's one in Vermont.
There's not.
An on-site.
They don't do projects.
Maybe
there.
UVM needs some stuff done.
It
UVM
doesn't.
has to have cabins.
Oh, they
It doesn't.
Oh, they totally do. They
They have enough
catamounts.
money. They have enough money.
Is there
to
any
do it
way to
themselves.
do it so it lowers tuition?
We'll work off. Pay for your meal plan.
Are you ready for these? Are you ready to give sound advice to these innocent individuals?
Yes.
Okay. This one has 2 pictures.
We love pictures.
Okay. I will read it to you, so don't.
What?
Okay, let me read it. We have an older 1900 house in Virginia, and I'm not super handy, but I need a way to limit the water to the basement. This is a cellar door and a window well. The cellar door was removed because the underlying cement was not secure. The window well has a curved cement boundary and never had a way to protect it from the water. I saw a post online suggesting something like the below photos show, using PVC pipes for support and polycarbonate sheets to shed the water, secured by some metal screws. It mostly works. The back cellar door is secure, but the window well isn't doing well through storms. There is no support along the house exterior wall, so the PVC and polycarbonate sheets can bend on windy days. I was thinking of using a few 2x4s instead of PVC to secure it instead in the spring. Do you think it would work better? Or should we bite the bullet and purchase a $2,000-ish professionally done doors, etc.?
No.
Also, would there be any safety issues with this homemade design? The PVC is so light, it is easily pushed out.
So when I first saw these, I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I kind of laughed. But he's only a couple steps away from this being perfect.
Yeah.
Just get some U-clamps and screw right to the side and then caulk it.
Oh, that's even better.
Right?
Yeah.
Those things, that's perfect. Just get some U-clamps.
Which is like it's a
For
U-shape
conduit.
to hold conduit against a wall or up on a ceiling. They make them in galvanized, different sizes, so depending on how wide your PVC is. And then if you want to take it one step further, you could even tuck a small piece of aluminum flashing up under the vinyl siding onto the PVC and the corrugated sheets to shed water even more, if that's a problem.
I mean, you can't get busy and do a wood frame and make it all nice, and people are afraid to screw through. But like on this place, it's older. We've attached stuff through.
Yep.
And just make sure if you think it's water's gonna get there, just put some clear caulking on it.
Yeah. And if you did big enough U-clamps, you could still lift it up.
Yeah.
If you didn't flash it, you could still lift it up out of the way if it
Like a hinge almost.
Yeah.
I think that's way less obtrusive than having a PVC frame and stuff.
Yeah, and I think you get into 2x4s and all that, it just gets bulkier and more complicated.
Literally, that could be a $3 fix.
Yeah. Good idea.
Full of them today.
See, I told you to be quick.
All right. Well, let's head on to question 2. Pointer number 2.
Sound advice. Oh, more pictures.
That looks like that was taken in this room.
Okay. We have a small winterized lake cabin that we've recently purged all of its critter residents, from mice and squirrels to a family of river otters. While the renovated parts of the camp are now crisp and clean, we have a good deal of knotty pine paneling that is both nostalgic and depressing. I've tried many of Ashley's tricks to soften the orangeness of it, white curtains, light-colored furnishings, and bedding, but I noticed the pine paneling you put in your project is a much lighter yellow tone. Is this a different species of wood, or a different treatment from the days of old? Our pine was probably installed in the 80s and looks nothing like yours. What exactly is this pretty light pine you use? Do you advise clients to ditch the old orange pine in favor of this lighter variety? I'm sure if we removed it, we could do some additional critter cleanout and spray foam, which would be a bonus. But we also fear losing the original camp feel, as we are one of the last camps on this lake with dark brown shingle exterior and dark green trim that we love. There's always shiplap and whitewashing as options too, but at times we like the coziness of the orange pine. Any thoughts on how to deal with this orange pine? Embrace it or chuck it?
We got a bunch of thoughts. It all depends on how much time and energy you want to put into it.
It's very funny, the serendipitous about this question, because it kind of goes back to what Benjamin Moore was saying. As wood gets older, you want to put a thicker, less translucent stain on.
Yep.
And that's the issue.
Yep. And older polyurethanes or stains definitely darken wood faster. It's probably eastern white pine, and if there's a fireplace or wood stove, that tends to darken wood quicker. You can try whitewashing it depending on the finish that's on it. You can try painting it, but it's not. Most likely, it's not going to give you the look you want. You could cut, if you wanted to put in insulation and clean out any critters, you could cut halfway up and do like a wainscoting with new wood, with a chair rail, something like that. So you could leave the top part, or do it the opposite. Get rid of the top part, leave the bottom part. There's different ways to really address it. We whitewash pine a lot. You can now tint. I guess you probably always could, but Benjamin Moore's Stay Clear acrylic water-based polyurethane, you can add tinting to that. So you could add white tint directly to that and apply that, or you could do the old-fashioned. I call it old-fashioned. Half paint, half water, or you can buy
50-50, the old 50-50 mix.
the old 50-50, or you can buy pickling stain.
Industry secret.
But pine is going to darken naturally, and again, you could start fresh, and over time it would.
New pine, same stuff.
Yeah.
Newer pine.
Newer pine.
Didn't hit in the sun.
Yeah, it's going to gradually darken up, anyways. It really depends on the desired look.
Even if you put poly on it over time.
Yes. But the newer water-based polyurethanes have a less yellowing effect. It doesn't happen as quickly. If you paint the pine white, eventually the knots will bleed through, and then slowly the grains will start showing. So it's always going to be a transformation and a work in progress.
If it was me, I'd paint it though, because you'll like it for a while, and
right?
yeah, throw the paint at it.
Throw the paint on it, live with it. You don't like it,
camp.
then you strip it off, you rip it out, and go fresh.
I mean, the other thing you could do is you could go right over it too, to save time and money.
So that's true. But if you want to get insulation back there and clean out some critters, like I said, you could cut right in half and do new pine horizontally on the upper part. So, chair rail, break it up that way so you still have access to the cavities. Or
it really depends on how bad you hate it and how much money do you want to put into it, right?
Yeah. Yes. There's quick fixes.
Yeah.
Least expensive.
Short term that you might like.
Yeah, painting it. Long term, rip it all out and go fresh, or a little bit half and half.
Do you have a life event coming up and do you need to hire a professional? A little bit of everything.
Yes. You got to make sure those river otters aren't living in your cabin.
That's a new one, right?
I don't know. They must be right on the water.
And a river otter you think would be cute, but I bet when they're living in your house, they're not.
Yeah.
Dad, aren't you the one that always wants a pet otter? Are you always saying that?
No, they're in my feed. They're cute. But I don't want a pet otter. We have a raccoon living somewhere close by our house. And every night about the same time, Otis just goes nuts because the raccoon's like on our porch hanging out. I swear he was on our porch swing the other night. He got a drink from the water bowl outside, and then there were paw prints that went right to the swing.
The raccoon was not.
I bet he
You
was.
never know.
Dad, you just say that because you want a pet raccoon. He says he's going to go steal its babies.
I've seen people with pet raccoons.
Yeah.
We're not getting any pet rodents.
Oh, I just won't
A
tell
raccoon's
you.
not a rodent.
It's 100% a rodent.
I mean, it's cute. It's the cutest rodent there is.
I don't think a raccoon's a rodent.
Your brother would fight you about this. I mean,
It's definitely a rodent.
It's a bear.
what was Fletcher? What's Fletcher's raccoon?
Bandit?
Bandit.
Dad, come on.
Bandit's been everywhere around the
It's a
world.
trash panda.
Raccoons are not rodents.
Oh!
Okay, but what are they?
Don't make me say this word.
Trash pandas.
They're part of the
Marsupial.
All right. Yeah, whatever.
Above all our pay grade.
Yep.
Well, anyways, those are some good project pointers.
Yeah, those were great. And good luck with your projects. And yeah, send some follow-up photos.
And if
you
you're in
got
the maybe if you're in the neighborhood or UVM and you have a project pointer, we'll come to you.
No, it's not happening. All right. Are you ready for some questions?
Yes, some more questions.
Some more questions. This is from Barbara White. When the Cabin Masters call the guys, where do the guys come from? Are they contractors you guys hire?
It's TV magic.
That's right. They just appear.
It started out as Dixie and Jedi, and Lance and
Justin
and
Wild Bill when
yeah,
we needed him.
yeah. And now it's just kind of whoever is
Yeah.
available. Because we have a great group of subcontractors, employees. Do you even know how many?
Not an exact amount. It's over 20.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But when we call the guys, that means we're taking the next step. We want help. You know, it's demo time. It's dirty time.
Yeah, and it really depends on like who we're gonna have working on the camp. We try and keep teams together on camps, and so if one camp's done, then we'll bring the team onto the next one so they get a good idea of what's happening right off. And if not, then it's really who's around, who's available, how dirty it is, how quickly we want to get all the demo done. You know, if we have a dumpster and we just want to get the place torn completely
We've
out
gotten smart about that.
in one day, we'll bring everybody and just clean the place right out. Or if the camp, you know, sometimes we'll do demo and we won't be able to get in right away, so we don't want to tear it apart too much. So, you know, it'll be just the core of us, and we'll do some exploratory demo.
What it is that season when we demoed all the camps. We've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily gender specific because we've called the guys and had all the kids come.
Yes.
You know, it's been Maggie, Nora, and Eva before.
Yeah.
Like it's sometimes it's family. Like it's just that point where we got the keys to the car. Let's go for a ride.
That's right. Call the guys.
Okay. This is from Michelle Harris. Do the homeowners get to keep all of the furnishing we see in the reveal? Is that part of the budget?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, but a lot of it's homeowners furnishing to Ashley and her team, and Heidi will go out check. People when people get on the show, they know they're saving stuff, and people bring stuff to people too.
Yeah. So now when we start a project, we'll go in, meet camp owners, check the place out, and we'll go in, and then we have the camp owners remove as much of their stuff as they possibly can. You know, sometimes they'll leave stuff that they either want us to reincorporate or it's stuff they can't move and just want thrown away. But that way, you know, Ashley and her team get a chance to see what they have, and then Ashley has a small design budget and is able to stretch that by incorporating the camp owners' stuff back into the design. And a lot of times, you know, it's everything that you see on show stays there, but a lot of times it's designed and set up for TV, and then the camp owners can kind of come in and, you know, tweak it, bring in more stuff, take out some of the stuff depending on what they're looking.
Speaking of that, you might see a little of that coming up sometime.
It's true. It's true.
We might just go visit a couple cabins we did a long time ago.
Yeah, and see what's changed, what hasn't.
And what's really cool though is like, as the shows got more popular, people, our friends and family and friends that are doing demo, no one throws anything away. They'll bring it to the back for it. We'll find stuff here. Like,
Yep.
We reduce, reuse, recycle, upcycle, cross cycle, side cycle, tons of stuff.
Yep. And even Ashley's team, like as far as calling the guys, like her team has grown, and just, you know, friends of friends of, you know, family members, previous camp owners. Like there's a lot of just everybody working together.
A long way from season 1.
Yes.
Okay. Last question from Dave Carpenter. How many times has a camp owner called you back after giving them the keys because they need you to fix something in the project?
Are you sure this isn't Dave Leach? Just kidding, Dave. We love you.
Every time we go back, that's what people don't realize. There's a punch list.
There's always a punch list.
And you for a long time have done a lot of it. I've helped out, and now we got some people like, but there's always a punch list. Because at the end, it's like, oh, we forgot this, like just little stuff.
But it's also like we take that budget, and it's not a big budget, and we stretch it as far as we can. And a lot of times the camp owners will say, well, what about this? Why didn't you do this?
And it's a good time. Like a lot of times we get the punch list and we're like, we have to be like, no, well, it's
Right.
time and materials.
Yeah, you can either can take it from where we left it. It's just, you know, the budget wasn't there, or we didn't want to do something that we weren't fully sure of how far you wanted to take it. But there's always one or two things. It's nice when there isn't a punch list.
But there's always something.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the things like you don't think about. I mean, it's a fine line because they give us the keys and then you come back and as you sit somewhere, you might see something. And sometimes it's not an uncomfortable conversation, but you have to have the conversation. Like, we're at the budget. Like, we'll do this, and like,
Yeah.
but if it's something that we forgot or something, but it
Maybe 50%.
it always works out. And yeah.
Yeah. It really.
But we're not going to change a refrigerator door because you can do that yourself.
Yes.
Maybe if you ask nicely.
Yeah, but you'll go fix their toilet. You'll make your daughter go with you to fix someone's toilet.
It's case by case
Yeah.
basis.
We're like lawyers. We take them case by case. So
Yeah, okay.
just wait till we need to come fix your stuff.
Yeah.
In your dorm
I'll
room.
hire a professional.
Ouch. Oh.
All right. Well, thanks for those questions. Keep them coming. Podcast at mainecabinmasters.com.
And I hope people just, even though Maggie's going, I hope people will stay watching. Like how many
That'd be so funny.
That'd be so funny.
right? Imagine
I
our
think
viewership. I just had that
That'd be
thought.
hilarious.
You better hope it's not that bad, so we don't like really come to
That'd
you.
be
We just
hilarious.
threaten that.
Yeah. Do we have a trivia question this week?
Yep.
Who will be the next podcast moderator?
I was left with this lovely magazine.
Oh, good. What's the name of the magazine?
What about Maine?
What about Maine? Great little flyer that gets passed around town. Newsletter slash.
Every little area has one, right? Like the
I've never seen this before.
Belgrade Lakes. The...
You have it. It's just it's upgraded. It's very nice now. Glossy print, colored print.
The other day, they were on the news, they called Farmington, Western Maine. I disagree with that.
Farmington's definitely Western Maine.
Yeah, what?
You
Even
think?
I would
Yeah.
say that. Everyone in this room agrees with you.
No,
I mean,
disagrees.
disagrees with you.
Story of my life.
Well, like everything's Western Maine. Western Maine medicine, Western Maine rentals.
All right. And I think Western Maine, I think like below Bethel and Sanford. Like there's just so much more stuff west of us.
Yeah.
Consider Charlotte.
No, North Central, West, Northwest.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put north in there. There's so much north of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like I call it.
Western Maine.
Perspective. It's all perspective.
I mean, if you took the state of Maine and draw
West
it
from
in
us.
quadrants,
Right.
right?
I mean, they call this Central Maine. Are we really central? No.
I guess it's by geography too, right?
Oh yeah.
You can get to Canada within 45 minutes of there, though, so I guess that is kind of northern.
Yeah. Who knows?
The southern northern.
What do you got for
That was
us?
my trivia question.
Okay. This Maine woman has over 80 U.S. patents and is known for inventing the flat bottom paper bag.
What?
Would you like options?
Flat bottom paper bag.
Okay. A. Elsie Viles. B. Cornelia Crosby.
Okay, wait. Elsie Viles Auditorium.
Yeah.
Cornelia Crosby, Flat Rod Crosby.
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. Cornelia's her first name?
Yeah.
Flat Rod's way better.
C. Margaret Knight.
Who's Margaret Knight?
Don't know.
D. Helen Blanchard.
Ooh.
So it's down, but in my mind, it's between Helen Knight and Margaret Blanchard.
Nope. Switch that around. Said their names wrong.
Oh, Margaret Blanchard Knight. I don't know.
All right.
The last two.
Well, if you think you know the answer, podcast at mainecabinmasters.com. First correct answer wins a sweet prize. And yeah, you'll tune in next week to get the answer.
Hopefully, Maggie will be here next week, so please tune in.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for listening today. Thank you, Brad Henderson, for joining us. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Nori. Jeez, bro, I did
God,
it again.
what?
Thanks, Dad. He
Thank
loves
you,
his
Maggie.
family. That's cute.
I know. Thank you, Ryan.
I love you, buddy.
And we always want to thank our sponsors, Hammond Lumber Company, Nelma Benjamin Moore, and From the Woodshed, we'll be talking to you.
From the Woodshed is brought to you by Nelma. See the stamp, trust quality. Hammond Lumber Company, our building materials supplier, and Benjamin Moore, the official paint and stain supplier of the Kennebec Cabin Company. Only available at locally owned stores.